This is the Sunday edition of the 217 Recovery Podcast. Tonight's episode was carefully selected by Marney.
Could be little, could be big. But going back out is not the answer.
Sit back, relax, or do whatever it is you do, and enjoy Marney's Sunday night replay.
Is that where the little emojis that are laughing get put up?
Oh, you got jokes now?
I'm just saying.
This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
Checking the microphones, going good.
15th of August, 2020. My name is Corey Winfield, and this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. In the studio tonight, joining me once again, co-host Marney Liston. Marney.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Doing good.
Good. Hey, before we get into some things that happened today, I just want to run down that unfortunate news that we got the other day. And I mean, I guess it happens for a reason, but the recovery event in Paw Paw was supposed to be on the 19th of September. I need to change some stuff on the website, but it hasn't been canceled. It's been moved to July 24th, if I can remember correctly. But it's so far away, who knows?
Right.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's July 24th of next year. So it'll give them more time to prepare a little bit. It was their first, Jewel, I'm doing this for you. It was your first annual... kills me to do that. It's the first inaugural. But it's the first annual... I can't even say it. It's the first event they're having. So Jewel was like, yeah, it'll give us more time to kind of plan things out and get things more prepared how we want them. So I told her, just let us know what they need from us, and we're down. You know, we'll be there.
Right.
And we need to go down there and hang out with them anyway, even before then.
Sure.
Because she seemed pretty crazy. Like good crazy, like sober crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'd be fun to hang out with.
Everybody loves sober crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's fun.
So that was kind of like, because I was really looking forward to it, and just not really going to happen now. Well, at least not this year. And then it just kind of made me worry about the UFAM event. The Unite to Face Addiction Michigan is what UFAM stands for, but that's on the 24th. And I'm like, man, that's going to be on the lawn of the Capitol building, and what's Whitmer going to do when you get a bunch of people in recovery out there? Like, I don't know. So we'll see about that. I guess he's going to be on with Tory Worth from NEMSAS or something. His virtual meetings, which there's a link to on our website, 217recovery.com. But Wednesday, noon to 1, Scott Massey, the president and the organizer, he's going to be on there. And they said something about the UFAM in Tory's email. He sent out an email about it. And I don't know. I'm going to tune in because I'm interested, because is it still going forward? What's going on? Scott isn't, well, to be fair, I haven't reached out to Scott in quite some time. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll find something out about that. And we just bought a bunch of hats.
I know.
You know, people always, I want some gear. So we thought, hey, hats are perfect. And the hats look amazing. Thanks again to Personal Graphics Inc., PGI, and Petoskey. They did the logo for us and embroidered it. And the hats look amazing. And maybe we can auction some of them off. I saw that Lisa Clavier from, which I always say her name wrong. Lisa, what's up? Kirsten's Ride. She was selling raffle tickets the other day, and I thought, man, that'd be a good idea. Like, if we sold a raffle ticket, like if someone paid, like, I don't know, $3, or maybe $4, you know, it would have a chance to be in the drawing to win a hat or something. You know, we have the orange ones, the blue, the white. You know, throw those up there, and if, you know, however many people want to bid on it, and the donations, you know, help us too. And then I thought, man, that'd be... You don't really write off a $3 donation or a $5 donation, which is good and bad. But, I mean, they can always donate more. You know, if they want to write it off or something on their taxes, we can give you our EIN number, and you can file that, and we're legit. We'll give you a receipt. Government will count it. So,
yeah.
You know, you're good to go there. But yeah, so look for that. I think we'll do that next week. And I have something that's coming that I haven't told you about in the mail.
What?
Yeah. Well, okay, so a couple weeks ago I bought this, and you're probably getting so annoyed with it, Marty, but I bought the big black back screen
Yeah.
that I'm going to use when we shoot our videos and we tell our stories and stuff like that. And it'll be perfect. And then I thought, it'll be more perfect is lights. So I bought just a couple like lights, and I figure I could set it up and then like have the lights.
Oh, it's already set up.
Which I know. I'll move it somewhere someday.
It's fine.
But, well, yeah, I'll get some lights and we'll put the picture or the hats in like a cool picture. And
yeah, I can do that.
Jesus told me to do it, so I did it. I bought them.
Better listen.
Should be here sometime, maybe soon. So yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on. I got a message from you today, though, Marney, and I thought you were making jokes, and I don't have my phone with me. But it said, I ran into a fan today at the store. It was pretty cool. So I'm excited. I'm like, oh, man, she bought me another fan. And I thought she's so
not
clever.
Even. That wasn't even.
You had like a smiley face. I'm like, yeah, she's walking by the fans, and it was probably on, and it was so cool.
No.
And then I was just imagining this cool fan that I'm going to have in the bedroom. And then I started putting two and two together, and I'm like, I think, okay, she's not being funny with making a joke about fans keeping people cool. Because you were like, I ran into a fan. It felt so cool.
That's not even a funny joke.
But I was like, wow, she's coming with jokes tonight. And that's what I thought. I really did. And
wow, you're way off.
Well, yeah, and then I was like, oh, I think she means a fan of the podcast or a fan of, 217 Recovery or the blogs or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, maybe that's what she means. So then I got home and I talked to you. So what happened? You're at the store.
Oh, I was just checking out at the grocery store, just a little local grocery store. And this guy, like, shoots around from the other aisle.
What did he look like? Was he crazy?
No. It's like middle-aged, just average guy looking. I don't know. Anyway, and he just like shoots around. I'm doing like the self-checkout. And he's like, hey, 217 Recovery. I like it. And I was like, and before I could even say anything, he was like, disappeared. Well, I was like, hey, thanks. I'm like, thanks for listening. And just, he was out the door. But, yeah, I was just wearing my 217 Recovery podcast shirt that I have like a million of. One of them. Sporting it, yeah. But it was neat just to know, like, there are people out there that are listening and are reading and, benefiting hopefully and spreading the word of, recovery and supporting people in recovery. It was neat to actually have it. I mean, just out of the blue.
Yeah, and he, put a comment on the 217 Recovery family page, and he said it's nice to see people wearing it out in public or something like that. And it's like, yeah, that's what we're about. In fact, when I was driving home, I was thinking about that same thing about how I'm proud that I'm in recovery, and that's something that before I would have always been ashamed of. I wouldn't want people to know that I'm in recovery. I'm just Corey. I don't have any problems. I'm just living the life, but I'd be living a lie. I'm a proud person in the recovery community, and some people have a hard time standing up and saying that, and I will gladly stand up and say it for anybody. Yeah. And if it changes the way people view us, perfect. And the reason why I was thinking about that was because I was talking with a guy tonight, and he was telling me that, his problem was alcohol and heroin and meth and drugs. That was his problem. And I listened to him for a bit. And then, I told him my problem. And it wasn't alcohol. It wasn't drugs. It was abandonment from my father. And I started, going down that and opening that like avenue for him, and just to kind of see him kind of think and change. And his whole face was just thinking. His eyes started watering, and he starts tearing up a bit. And he said, now that you mentioned that, my dad would, he tells me, we're a proud family, and, your grandfather stormed the beaches of Normandy, and like you can, if they can do that, you know, and he can do that, then you can just stop drinking, you know. And it's just like, oh, you know, he's coming from a family like that. And my biological father is the same way. He doesn't want to take time to get it. He's just like, just don't drink, you know. And hey, man, that would be a perfect solution, but that's not the right way to do it. You know, somebody who just doesn't drink anymore is going to be what they call a dry drunk. I mean, they haven't solved the problem, and now you've just taken away a Band-Aid from them. So they're going to turn to something else, or they're just going to be unhappy people until you can get to the root of that and deal with it and have that acceptance of it. Nothing's going to change, unfortunately, you know. And he just, you know, just looking at him thinking and really kind of taking it back in his mind. I told him, you know, I'm not your therapist. I'm not trying to be your therapist or nothing. I'm just telling you, for me, I had to like really break it down like that. And, you know, at first I thought it was the alcohol. And then I thought, well, no, I have a mental problem. I need help. I need pills. I need something. But I didn't need any of that. And maybe I did need the Zoloft for a bit to just kind of balance things out. And that's fine. But I don't have a mental problem. You know, I don't have a handicap or anything like that. It's just I had a problem getting to the root of the actual problem. And, you know, to say you're an alcoholic is a hard thing to swallow. To say you're a drug addict, to say you're a junkie, you know, that's a hard thing to swallow. And it'd be much easier to say, well, I'm just severely depressed. That's why I drink. But that's still not really the reason why you drink or do drugs. You know, there's something in there for everybody, for one of us, I feel. And, you know, to see him kind of come alive with that really kind of made me feel like, okay, you know, some people are getting it. And, you know, those other people, like his father and like my father, who just think, well, just don't drink anymore. You know, those people are going to kind of go away, I think, eventually. And by me and you and other people in recovery standing up saying, hey, you know, I'm in recovery. I'm not a bad person. Mm-hmm. I changed my life. I got to the root of a major problem in my life. And I don't know, whatever the issue that is that makes people want to use or, you know, escape reality or to cover up the pain, you know, whatever it is, you know, to stand up and say, I did it, you know, and I'm living a great life right now, you know, until we all start standing up and being okay with being in public and people knowing our darkest secrets, you know. But I think those people will just kind of go away, kind of weed themselves out, and they're going to be the minority one day. And I think then we'll be making leaps and bounds, and just it'll be like a whole movement thing almost, where people who suffer an addiction, you know, from substance use disorder, they won't be looked upon as just trash, you know. And it might take time, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I got a couple years. Jesus told me that I'll live a few more.
Well, I mean, being in recovery in general, there's no, like, I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud. I'm proud to wear, you know, the shirts that basically just say, like, I support, you know, I mean, it does say 217 recovery, but, you know, essentially it's being recognized as an individual in the recovery community. And, you know, people who aren't, like my sister, I made her shirt, she wears it, you know, and her husband. And, but yeah, there's no shame in being in recovery. And yeah, it does maybe, you know, some people might look deeper into it. Like that person was at one point somebody who was an addict. And yeah, so what, you know, I really focus on, you know, look at who I am today. That's what being in recovery means, you know, and that's why I say it all the time. I actually wrote a blog on it a few weeks ago. I can't remember. I think I called it Secretly Sober. Yeah, and I talked about some of the reasons why I didn't like to say out loud that I didn't drink to just anybody and everybody, because I didn't want to have that be something that if I ever did decide to go back out, to have it be an issue or be confronted about it. And so it left that door cracked to be able to you know, not have to explain myself for a quote unquote relapse. Because I'm not relapsing if I don't ever tell people that I'm trying not to drink. I know, crazy. But no, I mean, that's really the truth of why I did that. And it was just setting myself up for failure. And inevitably, right then and there, if I really would have been truthful with myself and honest, I wasn't, ready for a life of recovery yet. I was ready for a recovery at that minute, for that moment. But, so it's kind of sad. It kind of brings me sadness when I think about that, like in hindsight. But, overall, just recognizing it now, it's something that I can talk about. It's something I can, have people be like, why do I do that? Why do I not, tell my coworkers that I'm in recovery? It's not a shameful thing. It's an awesome thing. I mean, what are they going to do? Be like, you're in recovery? Like, that's something to celebrate. So, and, especially too, having the attitude I found of like, why are you making it a big deal? Like, who are those people? They're the one with the problem. Like, you have a problem with me because I don't drink or drug. Wow. That's pretty shallow. But, I don't know. It's different for different people, and different people have been affected by it in different ways. Mm-hmm. So, you kind of have to be mindful of that and forgive about, that, because you don't know where they're coming from.
I think that people that, judge people in recovery, like they think that we think we're better than them.
Yeah.
Because they still drink, and we're judging them as, well, now they're bad people because they drink.
Right.
Hey, man, there's a lot of people that, I have a hard time with ice cream. I really do. Mm-hmm. And gambling, I can go into a casino and walk out and just, okay, so I believe that, yes, people can have beer. My mom, my stepdad, my stepdad have a beer once in a while. In, New Year's Eve, they might have some drinks, but they can do that. But for me, I can't stop it.
Yeah.
It turns on and it does not turn off. And, other people, it's sex. It's different for different people. But, the problem with when you get using substances to do it, then we become dependent on it. And, the addiction of gambling, that's very dangerous too. The suicide rate for people who are gambling addicts it's just incredibly high, and it's sad. Mm-hmm. But I can see where that would lead to that. And, sex, same thing. I mean, someone who's a sex addict, and I'm sure there's different levels, and I'm not an expert on sex addiction, but I'm pretty close with addiction. And it seems like there might be different levels. I don't know if, a guy who watches porn all the time, or a guy who drives around parking lots, and sees something. And it's just, we were watching that show today, and the guy was, whatever he called it, he was addicted to salt, and then it was sweat, and male, female, he didn't care. And he gets the guy gets the shirt from the guy who was working out trying to cut weight, and goes in his car and relieves himself. Like there's those kind of people too. And, I don't know. So I don't know if there's different avenues or if there's different labeling of that, but it seems like that would be different if someone, just makes it their routine. I watch porn every morning, or, I go to the store. I don't know. And
mm-hmm. Well, I mean, even like something is, I thought of this the other day, is, kleptos or whatever, mm-hmm. people that are addicted to stealing, and it's not because they even like need the things or even necessarily want the things. It's like I read somewhere it's about like the thrill and the opportunities. Like, I don't know, it's really kind of interesting, mm-hmm. but yeah, people, I mean, that's an addiction. They can't stop. They want more. They want to do it all the time. And, there's all these different avenues and trying to figure out, like, why is it that they do that? Or, trying to figure it out, or how do you get better? I mean, but see, once again, nobody wants to walk around saying that you're addicted to anything. It's, mm-hmm. too much of something, of anything, is not good. But I wanted to circle back around what you were saying about being in recovery in general and other people and how they might view us. I think you're right about that piece, that there's this sometimes a feeling of people think that we think that we're better than them. And that's definitely not true. But more so, to take it a step further, is possibly the feeling that we're judging them for what they do, you know, and almost like a resentment, I guess. Because I think I've felt this before, is like, let's say you have a family's function, right? That there's drinking at. That's a normal event that would have alcohol there, like a wedding or a birthday party or a barbecue or whatever. And you being there is like makes them feel like they can't let their hair down like as they normally would. Like a normal person does.
Oh,
like
Marnie's going to be over, so hide the beer. We can't drink it from
I
Marnie.
can't, you know, and then if I get drunk, I'm going to feel like, you know, she's judging me, and she's going to be counting how many drinks I had and what have you. And, yeah, I've actually or we're having a Christmas party, but we're not going to have alcohol there, you know, because you're going to be there, you know, because they don't want to put me in a bad spot. I'm like, now you are making it weird. Okay, so now I do feel awkward because you're telling me you're changing plans, because, you know, it's not like we turn into these like foaming at the mouth monsters or something when certain things are around. But you know, at least I don't. Who knows? Some people maybe can't stand being around it. But I don't know. I just wanted to comment on what you're saying about people's reactions and people's attitudes and how people handle, you know, being their own drinking or drug use even around, or smoking, you know, people who smoke pot. I have a friend that, you know, it's like, you know, pot's legal now. Hey, you know, and even when it wasn't, is that something that would bother me? And how do you handle being around it when you don't do it? That's just, everyone's got a different take on it, but.
Yeah, one time I was with some friends, and there was another friend who came over, and him and his wife, they didn't drink, and we all did. So we told them that, oh, we're going to have dinner, blah, blah, and then we're like, all right, well, you guys have a good night, and we acted like we were leaving. We got in our car, went around the block, and watched them go down, and then once they were like out of sight, we went back to the house, and then we partied, just so that they wouldn't feel uncomfortable. And it was just like silly. Like, why couldn't we have just been like, I don't know. It's kind of silly if you think about it. Like the things that we would do to go out of our way to, and I don't remember if we were just we were probably just not wanting them to judge us, or maybe know what kind of people we really were. I don't really know. It was a long time ago, but just when you were mentioning that, and I was thinking about that, and just how silly that was. And, you know, if we were responsible in the way we were drinking, we could have had drinks right in front of them, you know, like it wouldn't have been a thing. But, you know, how drunk we like to get, you know, I guess maybe we knew
that's it.
that they would go, whoa, this isn't healthy, and we don't really want to be around you guys when you're doing that, so we're out of here. Yeah.
Like, I'm going to leave before you leave me.
Yeah, they would have left. But I was thinking, too, you know, when I was talking about being the person that will stand up in recovery and say, hey, you know, I'm in recovery and there's nothing wrong with it. I was thinking, you know, there could be 5 people listening, you know, and I always say like my mom and your mom and Dylan, he calls himself DeLeon, he might be listening, and Greg, and I don't know, just a bunch of people could be listening, and it could be 5 or 10 people, but I would rather have 10 people listen who are going to carry the message than 10,000 people who just hear the podcast and that's it. They don't get anything out of it. If the people that do listen, and I believe the people that do listen are on the same page, who feel kind of the same way, either they have suffered with substance use disorder, or maybe they know a family member or friend, or, hopefully that there's something in there that they can take away from this to go, yep, that's the message, and that's what 217 Recovery, is trying to promote is, fun and recovery, and that we can go out and have a good time. We can be in recovery. We can be proud to be in recovery, and ain't nothing wrong with that. If the people listening, and like I said, I think people that do listen kind of feel the same way too, and are carrying that same message, and they get it. They get what we're trying to say, and that's probably why they do listen. Somebody that they can relate to, or somebody that maybe they believe in you, they believe in me, they believe in Anna. Who knows? But I think for sure they do, and I know for sure I'd rather have 10 listeners like that over 10,000 any day.
Right, for sure. Yeah. It was funny. I was listening to one of our episodes the other day, and my sister was like, "Are you listening to yourself?" And I was listening to one of you and your mom. So I was like, "No, I'm listening to one that I wasn't on." And then she said, "Now, how do you decide what you guys are going to talk about? Do people ever ask you that? People ever ask you, like, if we like have a pre-podcast meeting or anything?"
No.
My mom's asked me that before too. Like, do you have like a setup on your, I'm like, no, this is not scripted.
That's not a good sign. She's probably like, well, maybe it needs to be.
No, I was like, this is not scripted. Callers. We don't, lots of times we'll just literally sit down, put on the headphones and just start talking. Cause that's the purity of it all. And that's kind of what makes it so real is because let's just say it wasn't you sitting across from me right now and it was somebody else who's in recovery. We'd have lots of times really similar conversations as we do right now. You know what I mean? Just talking about what it's like, and little tiny things that come up and, figuring stuff out about what we're feeling that day or what we've come across in daily living, living in recovery. And I think that's really cool and because it's become so natural. I mean, I'm not, a professional radio broadcaster like yourself.
Right, you're not.
But, nice. See, I don't even have access to buttons to push. So, but
sexual relationship.
See, there you go. I know no power here. That's why they call me co-host. Anyhow, no, I think it's really cool, but that's why I think, I really do want to start having more people on, from the community, from the recovery community, because, people want to hear their voice and what they have to say,
I think you should have your own show.
Man,
no buttons, once again, no buttons.
Yeah, but then you could have buttons to push.
Wow, that makes it so worth it right there.
Community Spotlight with Marney Liston.
Yeah, let me sit on that one.
That'll be your open. You get to sit on what?
No, because the thing is too is I don't want that responsibility right now for this one more thing. Plus, it would take away from this one. But
okay, I guess whatever. Whatever. Looking for people, reaching out.
Yeah, I like that little side note that you said because I missed one day. That
you missed like 20 days.
I did not miss 20 days.
So yeah, if you're interested, no, but we do have that other, Project Nation podcast that's just kind of sitting there. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but we want to grow. Like we're growing the blogs. Aaron just started a blog. I liked it. And I took a picture. He sent me. I made him. First, I used like a horrible picture of him off Facebook because I figured he would get me a good picture real quick, and he did. And so then I, threw it up on the website. His looks cool. Your page looks cool. Anna and I need to step up our game. Jay needs to send me a picture. But just like we're adding to the blogs, I would love to add to the podcast too. just kind of stuck right now. I mean, Anna said she got a new computer and she's supposed to be doing more podcasting, but you know, as long as she can, you know, keep doing what she's doing, you know, and providing inspiration how she knows how, and she's got to a pretty good start with the blog. So whatever she wants to do, that's fine. But you know, to add somebody else or a couple more people, I think that would be a good idea, and that's something that we definitely want to do. So just throwing it out there. Mm-hmm. Getting fun with Marn.
No, that's terrible.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty bad. The Marn experience, bro.
No.
What if it was that? The Marn experience, bro. I'm gonna make t-shirts. The Marn experience, bro. Show.
You're not in charge of that.
Do it when I feel like it, bro. No, I don't know. You don't say bro. I don't know. I have to think of something that you say all the time. No, stop it. Not there. The No Stop It, Not There show with Marney.
I'm just shaking my head right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Just kidding. Tell your dad I said hi. So, yeah, back to topics and stuff. We, like, in my head, I think of it all the time. I think of my brain just is always working, and that's something that I learned, like, in radio. Like, I was told, I think, actually, like, you're going to go to stores and you're going to see people. You're going to notice things that normally you didn't notice because you're going to look to try to tell a story about it. And that was true. I would go to stores, and that would be some of my best content for my show, is I would notice something, and I don't know, I was just always thinking about how I could use this as something to talk about on my show. And if it was kind of almost funny, well, I made it funny, you know, or at least to me, if it was a funny story, if I'm like, man, if that lady would have dropped this, or if that kid would have done this, or, you know, like I was always just boom, 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 moving ahead in my brain. And so for me, I spent a lot of time in my brain thinking about the podcast or what I would say or what I would do, not so much as to entertain people with a funny story, but to process the feelings, or, you know, what did I learn today about myself, or what did I say that might have helped somebody else that maybe I can repeat on the podcast later, or what is something I want to run by Marney. And the reason why we don't really talk about it is because I want to get your natural reaction to it. You know, this is a podcast. We don't edit it. Probably should, but we don't. And I just love the whole natural flow of it. And it's kind of like I'm interviewing Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, you know, or something, like, you know, when we get done with the interview and they're like, wait, were we going to do the interview? And I'm like, we just did, man. And Billy's like, oh, wow, okay. What did I say? You know, and because it was just so personable, and we just kind of run with it. And a lot of people, you know, will tell me and have told me over the years, like, wow, that was an hour long. Like, I didn't even think that was 10 minutes, you know, like, wow, that was crazy. But you just kind of get that rapport with people, and you just learn how to talk and learn how to ask them questions, and you get that natural reaction, and you hold a real conversation with somebody. I know I talk a lot, and I kind of feel bad sometimes, but then I don't. And I look over at you, and you're just staring at me, and I'm just like, yeah, but I'm just getting started with this one. But, you know, I appreciate you being on the show, though, too, and you bring a different side of what I bring. Like, we were told the other day, a guy had called, and he was telling me all kinds of stuff, and he's trying to start his own podcast, The Blind Cow, which I made him a pretty sweet logo. I was like, there you go, man. You know, I tell people all the time, if you need help with anything, you know, reach out. I'll tell you what microphones I'm using. I'll tell you what program. I'll tell you whatever, you know, whatever I can do to help you out. If you want to start, it doesn't even have to be about recovery. If you want to start a podcast, just reach out.
And I want to say that I think that's so awesome that you're so supportive of other people doing that kind of thing. And because some people, for whatever reason, are all like, I don't know, snobby and like selfish about, you know, their podcast. Like, because if people are listening to other people's podcasts, then they're not listening to your podcast. And it's like, the world should not be that way. No. You know what I mean? Like, heck yeah, man. Like, get out there, do your thing. Like, you know, I don't know. It's just, I think it's really awesome that, you know, and people value, you know, your input on stuff like that, because obviously you know what you're doing. So I think that's amazing. And yeah, there's been a couple people that have, mentioned kind of you've been inspiring to them, for them to do something like this. So that's great. I mean, the more the merrier. That's what I say.
Yeah, my friend Chow, he said that, and it was a podcast. I don't know, I think we did that in June. But he said he was kind of giving it up because he said I inspired him to do one, but then he realized how much work it was. And he was like, oh my God. He's like, I didn't even know it was going to be that much work, and I just don't have time for it. And
right.
But I liked his podcast, though. I really do. And if anybody, if you need help with anything, just let me know. But I designed one for Adam, the blind cow, and gave him a logo, and he was like, dude, it's pretty badass. And it is pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. But now he's waiting on a cord or waiting on this. And, I used to drag my feet too, because I was afraid. I was afraid of being judged. And, once Ryan Schnodick, I don't think that's how I know your face just looked like you just ate a lemon. You're like, ooh. No, I mean, I don't know. That would be kind of a cool last name.
I really
though.
hope that's not his name.
I don't think it is. I don't know how to say his last name. I don't know. It was not intentional. But Ryan S., he told me that he was disappointed in me. I told the story many times, and I was like, "You're disappointed in me?" He's like, "Yeah, I thought you'd have started the podcast by now because we were in the same treatment center, and he was in the same room, 217. Not really at the same time I was, but he was still in the same room." And he's like, "I thought you had it started by now. I'm really disappointed in you." And that's when I realized, okay, well, I got started right now, today. I don't care. I'm gonna pick a platform. Pick a website to go with and just go with it. And I did. And that was one of the greatest things that Ryan S. could have done. Was give me the honest truth. And that really kind of pushed me over the top to, damn it, I'm doing it, And I'm kind of fearful that Adam's kind of doing the same thing where he's just dragging his feet. And I mean, the more you talk about it, the better it sounds. And then eventually you're going to have to put up or shut up,
right.
And you keep throwing that date. Well, no, another month and another month and another month. And hopefully, Adam can find a way to pull it together, man, and do a podcast. Because until you start it, man,
just like anything, just like with my blogs and stuff too. Sometimes I'm just like, I'll have a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I just need to just post it. Come on. Come on, self. Get over it.
and Ricky, a friend of mine, Rico, in effect, he was the re and I was the co. Rico. We're like a recovery relationship brotherhood. Rico. Anyway, he was the one that told me, he's like, yeah, man, yeah, that all sounds good, bro, but when you get out of here, you're going to need to do it, And I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. He's like, no, for real. See, that shit sound good, but when you get out of here, you need to do it. And I was like, I know, I'm doing it. Yeah, see, that sounds good. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And that's something that always stuck in my head too. It's like, yeah, sounds good. Well, yeah, anybody can be in here talking a good game. Do it, and just thinking like that. And hopefully Adam can do that and not be afraid of what people think about him. And I think his podcast will be good. We'll support him as much as we can. But he's going to have a little different take on recovery, aside that I'm not really too familiar with. But I think that's what's going to be unique about his podcast, because there are people that are going to listen. And will it be 1 million people? Who knows? Again, if you can get 10 people to listen to carry your message, 2 people even, there you go. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
And you don't need 1 million people listening. I don't need 1 million people listening. If God wanted me to have 1 million people listening, 1 million people would be listening.
Right.
But I would take the people that want to listen and that use us as maybe an outlet, or maybe they're killing time at lunch in their car. Who knows? But I appreciate it, and I know you do too, Marney.
Absolutely.
Thought you just ran into a box fan at the store.
No, we love our listeners, and we love the people that read our blogs. And yeah, anytime, I'm surprised we don't have more people that comment because I'm sure people have a lot of good things to say. We love to, just input, feedback is helpful, I think.
Yeah.
You can do that on the website.
On our website, I don't know.
The recovery, the family. I know you can.
Oh, the Facebook page.
Facebook page, yeah.
Yeah, there's Facebook page, the family page, 217 Recovery Family, 217 Recovery. And then our app, I submitted that to be published.
So that's like a week then, huh?
Hopefully sooner. So that'll be in the Google Play Store and they're in the App Store. If you got Apple.
We'll let you know.
So we'll make it easy for you.
Yeah.
And then you can share that with your friends and, hey, we can make a contest out of that.
Yeah. Free hat.
Yeah. For sure. Gotta say what's up to my man, James Deere. We're supposed to talk tomorrow. He's with Break the Chain, and they're out of New Zealand. And maybe he's in Australia now.
You gonna have him on the podcast?
Not yet, no. But see, he's like 14 hours ahead of us.
Right.
So, it could be done for sure, but we got to figure out a time and a day. But no, he had some great ideas, and James is a big thinker. He thinks big, and I like that about him. And every time I see him, his stuff's getting better, and the quality's getting better. He seems a lot more sure of himself, and I just like the dude, man. I really feel good about, teaming up with him to do anything. So, hopefully when we talk, well, I guess it's Sunday officially now, but we talk later today, I'm going to be excited about it. And, the sky's the limit. Yeah, he's in a different country, but I think that's cool. If good recovery people with huge goals and big dreams reach out and connect, only great things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And James, he supports us, big time, and we support him big time too. So, it's relationships like that. It's helping like people like Adam and Blind Cow, in any way we can. It's that help, and cross promotion. I wish we would do more of it, and we probably need to try a little bit harder, or just do it a little bit more. But yeah, we'll work on that. But the app's coming, can't wait.
It's really easy to navigate.
It is.
Too.
I still might want to scroll at the bottom. We'll see. We'll do a poll.
Yeah.
But we're still engaged.
Yes.
So that's going well. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Look for those pictures on the hat, and you can bid on them. Maybe do a raffle. Yeah, keep you posted this week. And also, I'm going to be working on who we can talk to about getting some kind of structure, some kind of place where people can go where they don't have to get kicked out of the hospital, for help. And I'll put all that stuff on the website too, or, you just download the app and it'll be there, bro. Maybe that'll be the name of your podcast.
No.
Be there, bro. $10 will get you a Be There, Bro t-shirt. Just email me, Corey at 217recovery.com.
I'll make it too.
And, the fantasy football league, I don't know. We're not going to do like a donation league like we were going to do. But we are doing a league, and I've invited a few people, but there are a few spots left. So if fantasy football is your thing, maybe you've never done fantasy football, but you heard people talk about how awesome it is because it will change your life. It will. Hit me up, and I'll add you to the league before it's full. I think we have 2 or 3 spots left. So, again, Corey, Corey, at 217recovery.com. Marney, you can drop her an email as well. Give her some feedback. It's Marney, Marney, at 217recovery.com.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. Share us with your friends, and we will talk to you again, well, just in a few hours.
See ya.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. For more episodes plus bonus features, download the 217 Recovery app.